Thank you, Senator Butler. Senator Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge Coggins, you used to work for Governor Jerry Brown,
That is correct, Senator.
and I believe you advised him on issues regarding parole.
As the governor under the California Constitution, when the parole board recommends that a inmate be paroled, that matter then comes before the governor to determine whether he's going to reverse that recommendation.
Did you advise him on parole?
I was not advising him. What I provided was a background, all background information. So the nature and circumstances of the particular case that was before us. I was looking at the correctional file. In addition, I was
Do you
reviewing.
remember a parolee named James Schoenfeld?
I don't.
Welcome to Liberty Trigger. Folks, let me tell you something. What we witnessed today in the Senate Judiciary Committee should shake every single American awake. Senator John Kennedy grilled two judicial nominees, Judge Coggins and Judge Bosara, and what we saw was nothing short of shocking. These are the people who want to sit on the federal bench, deciding cases that affect your freedom, your family's safety, and the very fabric of our republic. And guess what? They couldn't even answer the most basic questions about crime, punishment, and precedent. First off, Judge Bosara. Senator Kennedy asked him about a case, J&J Sports Products v. someone, where a higher court flat out said he ignored an entire line of precedent. Not one case, not two cases, an entire collection of cases that judges in his district have been following.
Okay. You talked a lot about, as did you all appropriately, about juveniles in your testimony. Governor Brown in 2015 paroled Mr. James Schoenfeld. He was convicted of kidnapping 26 kids, juveniles, and burying them alive. Were you with Governor Brown then? Judge?
I left in 2015, so I'm unsure of the time period in which that occurred.
This happened in 2015.
That name is not familiar to me. What I can say is those decisions
Do you
are.
remember the case?
I do not.
Okay. When it happened, it got a lot of publicity in California. Did you call Judge Brown or Governor Brown and say, Governor, I love you, but what planet did you just parachute in from? How have you done this?
I did not.
Do you agree with this decision?
I would need to look at the file. I don't know the context. I don't know the background, the insight. And the decision that Governor Brown would make is whether the parolee poses an unreasonable risk to the safety of the community. And
Do you think kidnapping 26 juveniles and burying them alive presents a risk to the community?
I certainly believe that if that individual is convicted of those crimes, which it sounds like he was,
yeah.
he would be a risk to the community.
But you don't have an opinion about whether Governor Brown did the right thing?
Again, Senator, I would have to be able to look at the complete file and all of the considerations required of the governor who ultimately makes the decision.
So he might have done the right thing, in your opinion.
I would want to look at the complete file in order to make an assessment.
All right, Judge Bosara. Do you remember a case called J&J Sports Products v., if I mispronounce it, sir, please correct me, Ferraris?
I do recall that case, Senator, yes.
Okay, it was pretty recent, 2020. You're a magistrate judge, right?
I am.
And your decisions have to be reviewed by a federal district court judge?
That's correct.
Okay. You made a ruling in that case, and the district court reversed you.
In part, yes.
And the district court said, quote, these are the judge's words, not mine, that you ignored, quote, a large collection of cases in this district holding that essentially identical allegations are sufficient to state a claim. So your boss said you just ignored a whole line of cases. What's going on here?
Well, Senator Kennedy, the way I recall that case was there's a split in authority about claims that can be brought under the Copyright Act. And there were, in addition to the cases that the district judge cited, there was a whole bevy of other cases going in the other direction, and the Court of Appeals had not ruled on it.
Yeah.
And
But the judge didn't say you looked at both line of cases and decided one was more accurate than the other. He said you totally ignored a line of cases. Did you just disagree with those line of cases?
Senator, I would never ignore a whole line of cases, and I know that was a very lengthy opinion that I issued, and it's my practice in the 1,000 opinions.
I'm going to run out of time. I'm sorry to cut you off, Judge. I don't mean any disrespect. The district court judge says you ignored those cases.
I would respectfully say, as I don't...
Was he wrong?
I'm not going to call a colleague wrong, but I can say that in every case where I write a lengthy opinion, I read all of the applicable authorities. And I know in that particular situation, there's a line of other cases that I have read, and I did so in all of my decisions, and I can expect that I did so in that one as well.
But why did you ignore the line of cases is my point. I can understand you saying, well, there are two line of cases and they conflict, and I find the reasoning more persuasive in this line. The district judge reversed you, said you just totally ignored them. That worries me.
He reversed me only in part, Senator, and in those line of cases, I think there's a split of authority at the district court level. There's no governing Court of Appeals decision or a U.S. Supreme Court decision, which my oath requires me to follow.
Thank you, folks.
Now, what does Bosara say? Oh, I never ignore precedent. I read all the authorities. There was a split in the law. Folks, let me break that down. That's lawyer speak for, I got caught, but I don't want to admit it. The higher court said he ignored precedent, and he won't even admit the obvious. If a judge can't be trusted to apply the law consistently, then what good is he on the bench? Justice isn't about playing favorites or cherry-picking cases. It's about following the Constitution and the rule of law, period. Then we get to Judge Coggins. Oh boy, Senator Kennedy asked him about his time working under Governor Jerry Brown in California. Now remember, California is ground zero for soft-on-crime policies. And Kennedy brought up a specific case, James Schoenfeld, a man convicted of kidnapping 26 children and burying them alive. Let that sink in. One of the most heinous crimes imaginable. In 2015, Governor Brown paroled him, released him back into society. And Kennedy wanted to know, did Judge Coggins advise Brown? Did he object? Did he at least remember this massive case that rocked the entire state? Coggins' answer? I don't remember. I'd have to look at the file. I provided background information. Folks, that is pathetic. You're telling me you don't recall one of the most infamous parole decisions in California history? And you want to be a federal judge? What Kennedy exposed today is the cowardice of nominees who refuse to take a stand. He asked Coggins point blank, do you think a man who kidnapped and buried alive 26 children poses a risk to the community? And guess what Coggins said? I'd have to look at the file. Really? Really? Do you need a file to know that burying children alive is dangerous? That's the level of moral clarity, or rather lack of it, that we're seeing from people nominated to lifetime positions on the federal bench. This is bigger than one hearing. This is about the future of our courts. If judges like these are confirmed, we're going to see more violent criminals walking free, more communities terrorized, and more Americans losing faith in the justice system. We cannot allow activist judges, weak judges, or judges who hide behind paperwork and legal jargon to dictate the safety of our neighborhoods. Every time they parole a monster, every time they ignore precedent, it's you and your family who pay the price. Senator Kennedy did what so few in Washington are willing to do. He asked the tough, uncomfortable questions. He didn't let them dodge. He didn't let them squirm out with fancy language. He held them accountable. That's what we need more of. Senators who actually fight for the American people, not for the approval of law schools or left-wing activist groups. So here's my message to you. If you're watching this and you care about the safety of your kids, your grandkids, and the survival of this country, wake up, pay attention, because judges matter. Courts matter. And if we let soft-on-crime, weak-on-precedent judges take over, the America we know and love will not survive. We need strong judges, judges with backbone, judges who understand that criminals should be punished, not pampered, that the Constitution means what it says, not whatever some activist wants it to mean today. Senator Kennedy showed us the truth. Now it's up to us to demand accountability. Call your senators. Speak up. Share this video. Because the left is hoping you stay silent while they stack the courts with people who won't protect you. But we won't stay silent. We're patriots. We love this country, and we will fight for it, no matter what. This is your wake-up call. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the fight for America's future is happening right now, and together, we're not going to let her fall.